everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this special Drinksgiving, Friendsgiving episode is Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Becky.
And Leah. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Becky.
And Lindsey, who needs a sombrero, so somebody send her one fast. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi.
And Jenni. Hi, Jenni.
Hey, Becky.
You, however, do not need a sombrero.
I do not.
No. I don't know. Something about sombreros and dancing illegally in New Mexico.
Obviously.
Well, the funny thing is, like, with the group chat, if you, like, are not paying attention to the group chat and, like, sometimes really random things pop up as the last notification on the group chat.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's it. I mean, it's always entertaining, right?
We do what we can.
I do have to share.
It's a good time.
I do have to share a little bit. So, I had Kelly Reads in my DMs today because she's like, I heard you had some wacky Christmas wrecks on your episode this week. I listened to them, but I had the two of the monsters. Can you tell me the rest? So I gave her all of the ones, like that elfed one that was the candy cane.
All of the unhinged ones.
She wanted all the naughty unhinged ones. So
yeah, Kelly likes the unhinged.
Yeah, she's like, these could not be better. So yeah, if you're listening and you would like unhinged Christmas wrecks, send me a DM and I will happily share them over. They were wild. Some of those were like.
Wait, did you read the Cleo Evans one? It's like, oh wait, was hers the thruple where it's like they're lumbered?
Hers is Krampus.
No,
and the Yeti.
No, the new one.
This is not.
He's a lumberjack and something else.
No, this isn't in that world. This is like, so the hero and the heroine are married and they go to this like cabin, but he won't like do anything. And then there's two lumberjacks that they rescue from outside and like do all these things with them. But then you find out at the end of the book that the four of them are in a relationship. But like as the book progresses, you don't know that.
So it's like role playing?
Yeah, it's
like
the
a big
one.
Oh, it's
that
the
we were
cuckold
talking
one.
about. The one Heather like immediately put on her TBR.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was really good. But there's a book 2 to that too.
I did read The Gifted to his
I read that one, the Jay Wilder one.
Jay Wilder.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So speaking of role playing, but not that kind of role playing.
Yeah.
Way to segue.
Kind.
Ooh, way to segue.
It was a natural segue.
It was very natural. On this episode of Buzzing About Romance, we are reviewing Role Playing by Cathy Yardley. I am ashamed to say that I believe this has been on my TBR since it came out.
Same.
I think I saw it on NetGalley and said, I'll get to it, but I just can't download it right now.
Well, I just really love the cover too.
Mm-hmm. The cover's adorable, but honestly, like, I am kicking myself super hard for not reading this sooner.
Yeah, this was a really good read.
Okay.
And honestly, like I am going to be reading all the things by her now.
All the things by her. Well, did I tell you I found out that she's an editor? And do you know whose editor she is?
You told me.
Kelly Jamieson.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. So who wants to read all the things?
I can read all the things.
Okay, Leah, read all the things.
So
I was looking for Heather. I was like,
July 1st, 2023. The tropes are close proximity, friends to lovers, nerdy, over 40 main characters, second chance at love. It is a slow burn.
Yes.
It reps LGBTQIA and it is multicultural. It is a standalone. It is dual third-person point of view. The put-out percentage is 80%. Like I said, it is slow burn. Audio narrators are Chris Brinkley and Elise Din.
Mm-hmm.
And it is available in Kindle Unlimited and as a read and listen.
So I did listen to the audiobook. I have a question for Jenni because I think she knows. Is Chris Brinkley from the South?
Yes, and he does all of Penny Reed.
He does all of Penny Reed stuff, and I knew that.
Well, he does most of Smarty Pants too.
Well, yeah,
he does all of the ones in Green Valley. He doesn't do all of them because her ones, like they have others, but she does a lot. Basically anything with like a southern style, not like a southern style accent, because he doesn't really have like a full-blown accent, but he does have like
He's
we're
enough of
Really
a
good.
drawl that it
Yeah,
works.
he
he
has
does
a
have
good
a very
Tennessee
regional
accent.
yeah. He has like a very regional accent. It's not like the full-blown like
Well,
country drawl people think of.
I
He
bring
also
it
writes his own book,
I-
FYI.
well, and I bring it up because this book takes place in the Pacific Northwest,
Mhm.
outside Seattle. It's Washington, and there were several moments where he slipped into the southern accent. Like you would just get that slight twang on the end. And it was after like very long descriptives or monologue type issues.
Like you got tired.
Yeah. And I just was kind of like, he must be from the South. Because sometimes, as you're talking, you obviously start to relax a little bit and you get going and then your own natural. It wasn't distracting or anything, but I did have a moment like, is he from the South? 'Cause
I've listened to a couple of his narrations. I've always enjoyed him.
yeah,
I love his voice.
Yeah.
the two of them were really good together. They really had great chemistry in the audiobook, and Elise was phenomenal. Like she brought Maggie to life.
I loved her so much. I had never listened to her narrating a book, but like I have any play and I was like, I'm gonna look and see what all she narrates and just listen to her because I really loved like the personality she added, her grumpiness. She was a delight.
But they weren't really grumpy sunshine. Like I started to write that down, but they weren't really grumpy sunshine because
No.
he's not
Not
really
sunshine.
sunshine.
Oh,
They're more
But-
curmudgeon-y.
They're like past the bullshit phase. Like
Yeah.
there's
Well, she definitely is.
I love that.
Well, and
Like, no joke, when I started reading this, like I was laying in bed and I started laughing because there were a couple lines where I was like, oh my. And Michael asked me what, and I was like, this character, like, she's me, or rather, I am her. And I could totally see myself saying these things.
Yeah.
saying these things and
Love
avoiding
her.
people at all costs.
Yeah.
I know, it's like my
She's right.
dream.
Okay, I just love that we got a heroine who is like not at all a Hallmark sunshiny girl. Like she is just full bog witch. I love that. Like it fits her personality so well. And yeah, I really identified with her. Like I have my moments of grumpiness and it was like, I'm gonna just let these moments shine because of this book now.
There was so much relatable in this
The
book.
grocery store.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I'm always like, because I had to like run to the grocery store to pick up a couple things today, and I'm like, do not make eye contact.
So I
Like,
just put my earbuds in and tunnel vision. Like if I see, like I will see people and I do not even see them. Like somebody said something to me like a couple weeks ago. They're like, yeah, I saw you at the store. It's like, oh, I did not see you there. I'm sorry. I may have actually looked at them. Not a clue though.
But didn't
Because
see
like I
them.
put them in and I just go. Because it is not a social hour.
There was so much about Maggie, though, like just especially because, so I'm a mom of older adult children, and that line of, they don't need to take care of me, but I also, like, sometimes still feel like I need to coax them through things. Like, oh, you're going to go to a party. Well, make sure you say like, they don't.
like, tell them how to be polite.
Yeah, like make sure you use your please and thank yous. And do you have a friend? Are you going with somebody?
I did really love the relationship between Kit and Maggie though.
But the ending made me a little grouchy
Yeah, me
for
too.
Kit. Like it was
It
totally
did.
a 19-year-old something to do. Like it was totally
It wasn't out of character
thoughtless.
for the age though, and I think that's why it worked really well. Yes, it made us all mad, but it worked.
Well, and it was so typical that it's
Mhm.
the dad's having another baby and a girlfriend, and all of a sudden he's interested in his child he left behind for the last 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
But I did
Like,
enjoy
that
her
never
reaction,
happens in
though.
real life.
No.
Yeah, and the like girlfriend's like closer in age to his son than
Son.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that I really thought was so incredibly well done was this multicultural aspect, because Maggie herself was not raised within her culture. So she's just like somebody like us, she's discovering the culture, what she likes, what works for her. We're not native to it, even though that is her race, like Vietnamese. But Grandma Birdie doesn't allow her to explore that part of her. She wanted her to be more like the white side of the family.
Yeah.
Grandma Birdie had some issues.
Yeah.
I love that she rebelled by learning to cook.
Yeah. Well, that she cooked it, and the whole faux scene between the two of them, I was just laughing. Like,
yeah,
they were. What did you think of that meet cute when they realized? Because again, the whole setup premise of this, the gaming, I thought it was going to be like Dungeons and Dragons, tabletop gaming, and it didn't. It ended up being video game. So very World of Warcraft, Skyrim. Although I don't think Skyrim has a
No.
guild.
I would
No, it
say
doesn't.
Destiny, like
Destiny.
you have clans and you have that like open area where you could kind of like congregate.
The gaming people are telling me that Skyrim does have guilds and clans and groups. So
I tried to block that like time in my life out. Like,
So
is that newer though? I didn't think it always did.
There's like a social
no
element
idea.
in a lot of games. I never really played video games growing up, but then I got very into Clash of Clans for like years, like creepy into. Like I had a whatever. Anyway,
had a
like,
guild.
highly social. I
for
had a
for
forum,
another time.
I had a
You
guild.
ran
Um,
rampages and things.
we were like in the top 1,000 at one point. Like
It's
it was
intense.
very serious. There were videos. It was very competitive. It got very political at the end, and I burned shit down, like my temper. But anyway, I didn't have time for it anymore. Anyway, but yeah, I really liked that element because like there is a social aspect of a
Sure.
lot of games now, and I just
Mhm.
love her video game personality. The
Well, when
Witch.
she goes in as the Bog Witch and she has like a real low character because she wants to see who they are
Yeah.
and how they treat women, because notoriously video game worlds are very chauvinistic. They are very He-Man women haters. And
Mhm.
I mean, the gaming world drags women. And so, she went in. So that tells me that Cathy Yardley herself must have some workable knowledge of gaming, of the gaming world, the culture, because she really got all of that well.
Right. Yeah.
And right.
Well, and I think it's funny. So, like, the way that it's set up is like she joins the guild, and Aiden thinks she's this like 80-year-old grandma.
Right.
And she thinks he's like an 18, 20-year-old like college kid because he's taking classes at the community college, and they like their number gets passed to each other through his mom, who I hate, by the way. Hate her.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do not like her at all. But it's like, so they both have this like idea of who the other person is, and then when they meet, they're like, "Oh, you're not 20.
You're a grown
You're
up.
not 80."
I like that he
Like,
winds up
you were
actually
older.
older. Yeah, I like that he actually winds up being older.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love their meet cute when he's sick and she's like, "Do you want me to come to your house and bring you soup?" And he's like, "Yes." And then like their meet cute is just hilarious because like as she's there, she's like, "Oh, I could actually be like in a serial killer situation."
And she starts to panic.
She does, and messages her friend, Amanda, because you aren't a gamer. You don't even, and your husband is not a gamer.
No.
So for that piece of it for you, were you fine with it? Did you feel a little lost within that?
Were you like, this is super nerdy?
No, I mean, I didn't mind it. I don't really know anything about that world, but she explained it well enough, and I have like a basic knowledge, kind of to understand what was going on. So no, it wasn't too technical. It wasn't like off-putting. Like I liked it was almost kind of like a internet dating situation, which, like hidden identity kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I liked it.
Yeah. So before we get into his mother, because we're going to spend some time there, get your drinks ready, friends, because we're going to spend some time with the mother. But before we do that, let's talk about the people of the small town. And I guess I didn't put that. This was a small town.
Mm-hmm.
The women, Deb,
Fool's Fall.
Fools Falls, yeah.
Fools Falls. I
did love that name too.
Let's talk about Deb. And was her cousin's name Priscilla?
Patience.
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 I did the.
Because that's
I
what you
did the
name a
audio.
child.
I did the audio. Names are even
So
harder
you
when I
should
do
know
the audio.
better.
Um,
And they're even pronounced right for you.
right? So what did we think of Deb and Patience? And I do want to say, as an older person with children that have gone on to lead their own social or lack of social lives, whatever you want to say, it is hard to make friends once your children are no longer littles and school ages. Once your kids hit middle school, if you do not have a good, solid friend group, you are floating in the abyss by yourself.
Yeah.
And then don't even dream of it when your children are like, in their 20s and you're like, I need friends. That's when you start a podcast and you make people be your friend.
Yeah, I was like, am I supposed to be making friends with these people? Because I don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, you have
a lot
us.
of them you don't want to be making friends with anyway.
Yeah, I pretty much live in Fool's Falls, so.
But I did feel like the lack of friendship, the lack of social life, it's awkward. As your kids,
Yeah.
you don't have that built-in kid connection anymore. And
Well,
so
but even sometimes the building kid connection is hard too, though.
But so you
I
have
don't
to
know
actually like people. What are you
Well,
going to say, Lindsay?
That is fair.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know that I'd even consider like the football Sunday and like the meetups with Debs like friend meetups, because they were just like vultures. They were basically like, we just want companions in the dating world. It was very much like
Like a
it
speed
was kind of like in
dating.
your 20s, like when like basically if you find a relationship, you drop out of the group. Like, I mean, I hate
It
to
was
say
like
it,
an
but
adult frat party.
Yeah.
and it was kind of like that, where like she didn't want to date, and they were like, but why? And they were like, you're gonna date. Like, if you're gonna hang out with us, you're gonna date. And it was like, that's such a made me so mad for her. I was like, I would leave that party too. Like, good for
She's
you.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to hang out with you, so thanks.
Let's
Just
go
do
see the
this to get my
dog.
kid off my back. Yeah.
Deb was
I
not
love
somebody I
that.
would be friends with.
No,
Because
or
she
patient.
was,
But
well, her
we've
maybe,
all
because she
known a
was
Deb.
just a hot
We've
mess.
all had a Deb in our friend group. We have all that's that outlier that everybody looks at everybody and is like, why the fuck are we still friends with her? Why is she here? Do not sit there and lie.
It's so true.
We have
It is
all
really
had a
true.
Deb. And as long as I'm
Yeah.
not that Deb, we're fine.
Maybe you are the Deb and we just don't
Am
want
I
to
the
tell
Deb
you.
in this group as I
No.
organize things and drag you all along? I don't
Oh, we
care.
need a sticker. Hi, I'm the Deb. It's me.
I'm the
yes.
Deb.
Here, I'll wait. Let me write that down.
Write
Y'all
it
can
down.
suck it up because
It's me. I'm the Deb.
okay, so let's talk about his mom and his brother and his sister-in-law, and how many people can we burn and like lock in a closet and set the house on fire?
Yeah.
So can I just say, when Maggie shows up at that wedding, first off, is it Ridley or Riley?
Riley.
So he's like flabbergasted that this woman can look the way she does. And she's like, dude, I know I can look like this. I choose not to.
Yeah.
Like, first off, I
Same.
love that.
Yeah.
And second, the way that she throws down for Aiden to his family, like, I wanted to high five her and then dance because I hated them so much.
So
but she gets so mad on his behalf that I loved it.
So him as a 50 and her were her ages, they would be younger Gen Xers. And I really appreciated the conversation that he had had with Maggie about his sexuality and his identity. Because as a Gen Xer, it is not necessarily something that it is ingrained for us or that we know. We're all still kind of learning and fumbling along. Like, I have to ask my child to explain things to me to make sure that I'm understanding how things work, what's right, what's wrong. I mean, poor Shannon, who writes non binary, polyamorous romances, like, she had to send me a little card with all the different acceptable pronouns.
I think that that was very well done because I'm a
Hmm.
millennial, but I still had like you're not given that information anywhere unless you seek it out. Um and I identify the same way that Aiden does as a bi demisexual, but I didn't have that wording until I read a book with a demisexual character. Like I remember exactly where I was at. I was like, Jeremy, read this. I think this is me. And then
Yeah.
did like my deep dive into it, which sounds like we don't get it on page, but like Aiden also did. So I think yeah, it was done in a very realistic way for that age.
Well, and her acceptance, her understanding, her helping to put words for him, like, that almost felt like an instant connection, right? That
Hmm.
moment that you know this person needs help with the words and you can give them to them. You can give them the words so that they can have the autonomy they need to function and to explain themselves. And I just, again, this book is so underrated. Like, why are people not screaming about this book about it's demisexual, it's bisexual rep?
Hmm.
Like, this book was
Yeah.
phenomenal. Um, and in a situation like this, they were kind of friends to lovers and slow burn. But once we learned about not just Aiden's history, but Maggie's history and how she hasn't had the easiest of time within relationships, like, every step they took and the 5 steps backwards and the slow burn aspects, it all worked. It all made sense within this scope. And there wasn't one moment where I was like, could you just fucking kiss already? Like,
Hmm.
I didn't have
Yeah.
any of that because everything happened for a reason. It made sense for a
Well,
reason.
and
I
honestly,
praise
like,
you.
yes, they're 50 and 48, and yes, they know who they are, but at the same time, there was a lot of self-discovery through this book as well. And I
Yeah.
think that was part of it because at 50, like, you're still figuring stuff out sometimes, especially like if you're not sure about like how to label yourself. And I think that's the big thing. It's like there was a lot of learning for the two of them in the fact that, like, yes, Maggie was very like outspoken and very like gave zero fucks, but like she had a lot of insecurities, and Aiden kind of like bolstered her. And I think that that was something she was always looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought that, like, so many thoughts. Okay, so one of the things I really liked, I don't think this book works as anything other than a slow burn because I really
Yep.
liked covered two people who were adamantly not looking for a relationship. Like they weren't. And it shows a very natural progression on how two people not looking for a relationship wind up falling in love. And that's hard to do. And I think she did that. Like the vehicle she used to drive the plot forward and bring them together, like they had such a solid foundation. It was like nothing else made sense but a happily ever after by the time you got there for them. And that was so well done. So
Mhm.
good. Also it built chemistry between them so well because like when they did finally get together, it was fire. Um,
But it's also a little awkward, which I really enjoyed.
well, Aiden in the dry humping, and he just,
Just, but it was very like them. Like, had it not been awkward at all, like it would have been weird. Like if he was like this
Right.
closet like dirty talker where it's just
Oh,
like he's
yeah.
Well, and that
throwing
I
out the
mean
good
that would
girls and
not
stuff like that would have been real weird. It would have taken a turn that like didn't make sense. But like
yeah.
the awkward, like it worked well.
so, Amanda, let's talk about Davy and Cheryl, the brother and the ex. And
What a
her
hot mess.
her phone call apology was so fucking lame.
So lame.
I
It
hated
It
it
un
was,
already, and that made me hate
I,
her more.
yeah, I mean, she was trash. I mean, she didn't deserve either one of them, Aiden or Davy. even despite, Davy's lack of just, doing anything for his family when Aiden needed him. But yeah, I mean, she was obviously still in love with Aiden or just butthurt about him,
I think it was just
being
butthurt. I
with,
think her ego.
yeah,
Yeah, because
and
she like talks about how she wants to fix everything, right?
yeah.
For
Well, and she made her
hypocritical,
mistakes,
yeah.
and he was her punishment. Fuck you,
Oh yeah,
lady.
that's right. Oh yeah,
you,
I blocked
lady.
that out because I was so mad.
I almost threw
But even-
things.
And it's
Even when we
Christmas Eve
first-
too.
Yeah.
Right?
But even when we first met her, when we first meet Davy and her, she makes a point that Davy's other son could not be called Bug anymore. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, he's too
first
old.
off, it's not your kid. Yes, you're the stepmom, but not your kid. And also, if he doesn't have an issue being called
Right.
Bug,
Yeah.
then you should not have an issue with it. Clearly he doesn't mind it because he answers to it and his mother calls him that.
Yeah.
She's
Hey,
on a power trip where she
I'm
wants
not gonna
all this
lie.
control.
I almost
She's a
wanted
Deb.
I have an
a
ex
Deb.
sister in
She's a
law.
Deb.
She's
She
a
is
Deb.
Deb.
I have an ex sister in law that is a Cheryl.
Yeah.
I have, so I get it. I get it.
Well, I mean, she's a Cheryl with an S, so it's she's even more pretentious. So.
The one thing with the mother and the brother, and the brother just wants to be completely oblivious and give mom a car.
Yeah.
As somebody that's caring for an older parent, I have to say, my mother has been super easy. As we've said, you really can't drive anymore. You don't have the wits about you. I mean, she learned earlier
You're
this
very
week.
lucky that has happened that way, though.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but earlier this week, 2 days ago, she learned she has to stop drinking.
Oh no.
That one you might have some hard times with.
It's gonna be an
The
interesting.
driving wasn't an issue. The
She
drinking-
but you know what? I don't understand. I don't understand how siblings don't see this. How do you
Because they're
not
not
see
there.
that your mother is not? I don't
because
know.
they're not there, and once they're out of sight, they are out of mind. And it is not their problem because somebody else will take care
But
of it.
Davy and
I think-
Cheryl were literally the worst.
Yeah, I think there's a level of denial there too.
Yeah.
As you're caring for a dying parent, or because it doesn't sound like as his dad was dying, they were involved with that
Right. No.
either.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a level of denial. They're my parents, they're gonna be fine. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she already lost dad, but also the mom. I get being stubborn, older. I mean, she's probably in her 80s, doing her thing, whatever. I do understand that. But in this book, if her husband died, and I get being bitter. I had a grandmother that when her husband died, she became very bitter. But you don't see your son for all that. I don't know. I've seen both sides of this, and it was really relatable.
She's just an old, mean person. But it
Yeah.
sounded like they were mean before he died because
very
they did
judgmental.
not understand Aiden. They did not want to understand Aiden. They did not want Aiden to be this bad guy in their world. Being bi is an abomination, basically. And I
You're
think
going to hell.
and I think that's the thing. It's when he even talks about how Davy was always the favorite, even when they were younger. So
Yeah.
he's never he changed his entire life to come home and care for them. But there was zero appreciation for it, zero respect for anything that he did. Dude was a nurse who owned a hospice company, but yet he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, and the mom, when she was like, can you be all these things and we not tell the ladies at church?
Yeah. Or just not tell anybody at all. And I liked that he didn't go for that. He was like, no.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
But also, don't date Maggie. You should date Deb.
Right.
Yeah.
What the heck? She was such a problem.
She was.
But I thought Davy enabled a lot of that and like escalated things unnecessarily because
Mm.
like Aiden was actively trying to tell him like I'm struggling, I need help, like these things, I'm struggling, like we need to provide a united front, and he was like she can't drive anymore, and Davy's solution was okay, I'm gonna get her a car,
Right.
a
Yeah.
brand new
Yeah.
Right.
car. Like
Like,
Because the
and
car
what
is
are you
going to help
doing?
her.
Like
And before they even had that conversation, like he had to drive like 2.5 hours because he's not answering the phone,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
and then
was
he's like, why did
ridiculous.
you just show up? It's like, no, like, why wouldn't I just show up? I've tried to text and call you. But it
I
was
only wanted
Cheryl's
like a
fault.
little more like I wanted to see like the consequences of that, like almost
Yeah.
like a little like a sneak peek into it after the fact. I wanted to see
mhm.
Like,
like
does the
what went
mom
down
have a
with
car
them after he
accident or?
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that he and Maggie left the falls,
Yes.
Yeah.
and there was
Yeah.
a third act breakup there, but it wasn't really a third act breakup. There was
It was like a
drama
pause.
with the ex, and it took them both, and that was something that was really interesting. That wasn't traditional miscommunication because they were having the conversations. They didn't necessarily always have the words to have the conversations.
Well,
Like
but I
there
think
was some
part of that is
emotionally stuntedness in this
but they're
book.
both so introverted and like hiding is their default. And so I think that is a big part of that. And like when she kicks him out, when the ex shows up, like he wants to stay, but he also recognizes like he needs to leave because then like if he doesn't, then he's losing like a modicum of trust with her.
Yeah. I
And
know. I'm
he
still a
hates
little
that he's
bitter at Kit
leaving.
about that.
Hmm.
I still a little bit bitter at Kit about that.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
am
That's one of the things I
too.
don't understand. Like I feel like, and maybe that's part of what she was trying to go for here, that like you don't always know your kid as well as you think you do, but like they seemed very out of character based on what we knew about Kit
Oh,
from Maggie's perspective. Like
he was
why
very
in
in
what
character for being
universe would he
19.
ever show up with her ex?
Because
Like
they don't
why?
because they don't necessarily think about it.
Yeah.
He thought that he was doing a good thing by manipulating his mother to go and be social, even though he wasn't necessarily open and sharing about his life.
Well,
And at
and also
19 they know
showing up
everything.
early, like he thought, like if I show up early, I'm doing something good because then I'm showing up early to spend time with her. Like he didn't, there was not a lot of thought process behind how he showed up
Yeah.
early.
And there were like circumstances that made things go more wrong, like the car
Yes.
being in the driveway. Like maybe
Yes.
the dad wouldn't come in if there wasn't another car in the
Yeah.
driveway. Like, because
But
apparently there's
19 year
serial
olds
killers abound in Fools Falls.
19-year-olds and 20-year-olds know everything.
I mean, their frontal lobes are not fully formed yet, so
They know
just
everything.
saying.
I'm not sure they are at 40 either, but you know.
Well,
Well,
okay. That
scientifically,
felt a little
they
personal
are.
there, Jenni.
Who was it to you?
It wasn't to me, but maybe to someone you love.
Maybe.
Maybe. um, Stacy says the cover was a little misleading to make you think it was tabletop gaming. I thought the cover's adorable. I love this cover. The people have faces. They're always going to
Yeah.
win.
They
if
have faces.
It's a Lenny cover.
It is a Lenny cover.
I love
Yeah.
it. Isn't she wearing leg warmers?
No, she has ripped jeans on.
The
No,
Ripped
she's
wool
jeans
got
and
socks.
socks.
her socks. I love her
Oh,
But
socks.
she has ripped jeans on.
I don't.
Because
Hold on, I
she
gotta
only
pull it
has
up.
like one old pair
Yeah.
of jeans, like
Yeah.
They address the ripped jeans.
the first chapter.
That's
So
okay. I called
cute.
Leah today and I said something about get your pants on, and she's like, I don't have my pants on. She's like, well, wait, I have my pants on, but I don't have those pants on.
No, you asked me if I
You
was
don't have
wearing
hard
my
pants
petty
on.
pants, and I like had a
No.
moment where I was like, I'm not wearing pants, but I was sitting in my office. So I was like, well, no, I do have
But
pants
she
on.
spoke it
Like
all out loud. She's like,
I
don't
did.
have
I had all the
pants.
thoughts out loud.
I mean,
I had pants on. I had hard pants on at that.
hard pants
Yeah.
are literally the worst.
Well, it
Literally the
happens.
worst.
I don't have hard pants on now. I have soft pants on, but I do have pants
Oh,
on.
there we go. I
Good to
mean,
know.
these are the things we should know if Leah has pants on or not.
Oh, I guess they are leggings. Sorry. No.
Um, okay. So let's do our thumbs up, thumbs down. Also, if you would like, I came up with 3 drinks inspired by the book, and you will find those on our on the shelf show notes. We also sent them out early this morning in our newsletter. And if you want
Yes,
to
we
get
did.
other cool stuff like that, you should join our newsletter because it's amazing. It comes
I
out.
mean, I wouldn't say amazing, but it's okay.
It's
It's
amazing.
informative.
It's
It
informative.
is informative.
We tell you all the things. Okay, so let's do our thumbs up, thumbs down. Wait, did anybody have anything else they wanted to talk about in this book? We can talk about other things after we do this part.
One
No.
of the nicest threads on Reddit I've ever read was about this book.
Really?
Oh,
really?
wow.
No.
Yeah,
There are nice people on
There was-
Reddit?
There are.
I always I always look and like, yeah, it can't, I forgot about this, but like on Reddit, there was like a whole entire thread about this book in particular, and everybody was like, this is so refreshing. This is so nice. And then somebody, I guess, knew Elise, who narrated it and was like, my friend narrated this book and won an award, and like everybody was so happy about this book. And like I don't know about you, but I've never seen a Reddit thread where there's not like one sarcastic jerk on there.
Right?
But for this book,
People were happy. This book made me happy.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
This was incredibly enjoyable. I went through the entire thing going, oh my God, this is so good. I love this.
I was so nervous about the length of time. Like it is a very long audiobook. I think it was like 13 and a half
Yeah.
hours. So when I looked at that, I was like, what the heck are you guys doing to me?
Yeah.
And then I was like hooked,
What are
and
we
I was like,
doing
I
to you?
don't want to stop listening to this.
Yeah. Okay, we'll start with Amanda. Thumbs up, thumbs down, Amanda.
Oh, it's a thumbs up, definitely.
Leah, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Jenni, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
And Lindsey, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
And this is a thumbs up for me. I cannot recommend this book enough. It is going to be my entire personality for a minute. I want all the
It is your entire
mature.
personality for
It
most of
really
the time.
is. I am a bog
True.
witch. I am a Deb and a bog witch. I just loved it. I really loved it. I love the kind of gaming nerdy rep. I love, the
I think
discovery.
the thing is, like, it was an easy read. Like, it was comforting. It was concise. It was mature characters. And it was like a nice break from some of the chaos that authors sometimes give us. Like, yes, there was chaos in the book, but it all made sense. And it was like very emotional at the same time, but it was just really well done.
I think some of the most phenomenal character arcs and development I've read in a minute.
Yeah.
Like there was something about, if we look at where Maggie was when the book started to where she was in the end, even into her epilogue, same with Aiden, the fact that he put to words the things that he had been avoiding putting to words or not,
Yeah.
didn't have the words, like those character arcs were phenomenal. And this was a book full of stakes.
Well, and
There was
one
no
thing that I
vibing.
thought was interesting is like we do get the epilogue, but they talk about like how they're going out with people. And it's like one of the big things throughout the story was like how introverted they both are and how they don't really like to people a lot, which I know how that one goes. But it's like but I think it's because like they're in a new place that's just theirs,
Yeah.
that there's a new
Mhm.
comfort in like their relationship and like their lives. So like, yeah, they don't have like, they're not like thriving in the friend world, but like they've created like a really great space for them and then like their new place.
And community.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people liked this book, what books would you recommend for them?
I put 2 on there just because I'm really bad about shelving, but I just had the two from the Green Valley Library, which was Love in Due Time by L.B. Dunbar. It's book 1. And then, they're mature characters, and it's kind of like a later in life, like after they've both been through some stuff. I really like that one, and I'm totally blanking on their names. And then the other one was actually Cathy Yardley's entrance into that series, The Pros Before Bros. If you just like the way she writes, like that was my first book by her, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like the way she writes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
LB Dunbar is known for writing mature, older characters.
Yeah.
I really loved her book Aftercare. It's about a woman, her daughter is grown, graduating college, and she meets a manager of a band, and it's after she's had breast cancer, after she's had a mastectomy,
Oh, yeah.
and, you know, diving into a relationship after all of that. Lillian Moore has a series called Dirty Little Midlife Dilemma. That's the book, but it's her Heart's Cove hotties, but I think the majority of them are mature couples. The Redo by Max Monroe, they're both over 40. It's a second chance. Gray Hair Don't Care by Karen Booth. It's another Lenny cover. And she's older. And then Fast Women by Jennifer Cruzy. It is a slower burn. It is closed door, fade to black, and it leans a little more towards women's fiction. So those were my recs. Does anybody else have any recs?
I have two. I have Gaining Miles by Claire Kingsley. It is the mom of like all of the Miles kids
Yeah.
and Ben. And then I also have, if you like the older hero and heroine, Unbreakable by Crystal Daniels and Sandy Alvarez. It's in their MC series, but like the hero and the heroine are both older.
Older.
So they have like a different set, like style of maturity than some of her other books do.
I would even say the one that's the general manager for the Titans.
Bryn.
No. Callum
Callum, yeah.
by Sawyer Bennett.
Bryn is the owner. That's right.
Yeah, they both of those have older. They're both older, mature, second chance at love.
Well, and Dax, they're not both older, just Dax is older.
Yeah. Okay. So we liked this book. We are
Yes, we did.
doing something a little
much.
different in December. So our first Wednesday episode in December is we are going to talk and break down Married Gentlemen that is currently streaming on Netflix. I have so many thoughts, you guys.
Same.
So many thoughts.
I haven't watched it yet, so I don't have any thoughts as of now. But
Oh, you will
You will.
very quickly.
We're back next Wednesday with
we
that.
should make some Merry Gentleman drinks.
We could do some Merry Gentleman drinks. I'm not sure how much we should be drinking on a Wednesday, though. Like, this works.
Because we
Because
don't have to go anywhere.
we don't have to
Well,
go
I'm
anywhere
going somewhere,
tomorrow. But overall, I'm not sure that we should be drinking on Wednesdays.
I mean, we could still think about drinking on Wednesdays, though.
We could drink
Oh,
about
I
drinking
mean,
on a
like,
Wednesday.
that was a party day when I was in college, but again, I think we're closer to the mature.
I
age
am in the
range.
mature. Yeah.
Are we, though?
Ladies' night. Ladies' night was always Wednesday night. You could get
There you go.
25-cent, 8-ounce drafts.
Are we ladies, though?
I mean, I'm not a fucking lady. Are you a lady?
I mean,
I think it's
some
cheaper
days.
drinks.
I mean, it's cheap if I just drink at home, too.
I have to just say, like when we
And
were in
safer.
Monterey last week, we did Tipsy Putt. I think it was a Wednesday night.
Oh.
But
That
they
sounds
had a
fun.
place, like Charlie's dream is to have a putt-putt place that serves tiki drinks. And this place was a putt-putt place that served, it was a brewery that had putt-putt inside. And let me tell you, genius idea.
Did
Loved
you play putt-putt better with the beer? Because I am not good at putt-putt. But I feel like if I was drunk, I might be good at
I was
putt-putt.
not drunk. I was the DD. I made all of his
Oh.
coworkers go with us because they were there for a conference. So I was, yeah, anyway.
But
They
you're
had a
giving
great
people a
time. I made them
weapon
have a
while
great
they
time.
drink.
They probably didn't. I was like, guys, I expect maximum enthusiasm starting now. And they did.
That's so nice.
All the math nerds.
All the math. Well, they might have been mathletes. They're
It was
athletes.
the best night of our lives, guys.
Probably for them. It
I mean,
was.
it could be.
I mean, I don't know what Lindsay's saying. Does any of this shock? Lindsay's on a bowling league out of all of us, you guys.
Is this shocking to anybody?
Is it shocking to anyone that she wants to do putt-putt and get intoxicated while she putt-putts?
Well, apparently she was like Clash of Clans like royalty,
Right?
and we had no clue. So
I mean,
Yeah.
There are things we learn about Lindsay each week we talk to her.
who is this even in our midst? Like, I don't even know that we're worthy to have like a
I
Clash of
think Lindsay
Clans
might be the
royalty.
most like well-rounded out of all of
I'm
us.
not a
I
no
would agree.
person. I didn't have the internet or cable TV growing up. So like I'm just like a yeah, like we'll try it. We'll see
Same.
what happens. Like it could be bad. It's
I didn't
mostly
have cable TV growing up.
I didn't either.
We
I,
couldn't get it in my home.
but all
We
of my
did we
friends
did, however,
had
have
cable
dial-up
TV
internet.
and
We
internet.
had to wait for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had cable.
I didn't get real internet until college.
Kids do not know the pain of waiting for that dial tone to connect.
You don't even know the real pain. And because you had it for maybe like 2 months and then DSL was out by 99.
Me? No, I'm not. We did not have DSL out in the boondocks where I grew up.
You do live in
We
the
had
middle
one of
there.
those giant, like, saucer, like, satellite dishes in my yard for years. Like, that's how we watched TV.
and you couldn't be like on the internet like after work hours in case your parents called because there's only one phone line. Like,
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
we had two phone lines. We were
Oh,
really
see,
special.
you were.
I
We were
saw
special.
people commenting, how old are you? How high school old are you? And
Okay.
several people were like, oh, I had a pager. I had a beeper. And I was like, I had my own phone line.
Yeah, my one kid always likes to tell me like, "You're so old. Netflix came in the mail."
I mean, this is true.
Yeah.
And I'm
We
like,
were just
"Yes,
excited
Were
to
you
get
like, I'm older than Google?
yeah."
My kid is older than Google. My 21-year-old is older than Google.
Yeah, but that is like, people can't believe that I'm older than Google.
You don't look 21.
I know I don't look 20. Hey, now, I might. I could pass for 21. I
Wait,
could
show
not.
everybody your gray spots, Leah.
Oh, you can't see it very good. Is
That's
it
way
is it
more
dry
gray.
shampoo or is it gray hair?
She's
That's
like,
so funny. I have
Is
so
it
much
Lindsay?
hair.
Is it funny?
Is so my gray hair. It's funny. Like I started going like very gray at my temples at the same time my dog started going really gray. So I joke with Charlie like I'm gonna keep it forever as a bonding souvenir.
my dog and I went gray together.
So
That's
funny.
really
So
fun.
stupid.
Okay.
I will say though, I have
I mean-
more gray hair than my 70-year-old mother, so that hurts
Hey,
Hey,
sometimes.
you don't have to worry about it until somebody starts calling it a skunk stripe.
Oh.
Well, it's like back here, I can
brother
hide it.
Does that to my mom. My mom, when her hair, she dyes her hair. So like when it grows out, like she let it grow a lot out in COVID, and my brother just like really went hard on that's your skunk stripe. Like kids are good for the ego, I hear.
They're great. Don't have
They
them.
are amazing.
Don't do it. Also, okay, so I should also say that starting in January, we aren't going to be announcing the whole lineup of books for each month at the first of the previous month. We're going to start rolling them out slowly. It just gives us a little bit more flexibility if we want to change a book because it's not hitting or something comes up that we're like, oh my gosh, we'll still have a theme and we'll try to stick within the theme. But we'll give you a book releases probably 3 weeks before the episode will air. We'll let you know. If it's one that you probably were going to have to check out from a library or something, then again, we'll probably do it 4 weeks so that you have time. But I think we're really diving into backlists. So we're looking at older titles, not necessarily new releases. So anyway, there's that. And again, next week we're back with our review of Netflix original Merry Gentlemen and Chad Michael Murray's Hair, which should get its own line in the credits. It needs its own IMDb. And then we're back on Sunday. We'll be here the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We're talking about all the new authors we discovered in 2024. So I think that's it. Anybody have anything else we need to talk about before we go?
I don't think so.
Okay. Everybody enjoy your holiday. Until next time, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.